going inside the issues of our community. This is Local 12 Newsmakers.
Every year about this time, people have gathered on Fountain Square to kick off the United Way campaign. This year, the kickoff will be a little different, but it's hard to imagine a year when a drive was more important or more challenging. Good morning and welcome to Local 12 Newsmakers. Alexis de Tocqueville, in his famous 1835 book, Democracy in America, observed that the distinguishing quality of American society is our skill at forming voluntary organizations to help each other out. During 2009, we have had many guests on Newsmakers focusing on the needs in the community and our capacity to address those changes in the midst of the economic recession. This morning, we look at two of those efforts. The Community Chest United Way has been the umbrella organization that coordinates our collective efforts to ameliorate suffering and develop long-term capacity since 1915. In the second half of the program, I'll be joined by two members of a new effort, Social Venture Partners. United Way will kick off its public phase of its annual campaign this week in the face of a great recession that generates both increased need and shrinking capacity. Given the challenge to think and act outside the box, the kickoff this Wednesday is going virtual. Think Second Life meets Human Services, and we'll tell you more about that. To discuss this year's campaign, I am joined this morning by Rob Reifsnyder, the President and CEO of United Way of Greater Cincinnati. Rob, welcome back.
Thank you, Dan. It's good to be here.
This is just before the public part of the campaign starts. I presume on Wednesday you're going to announce the goal and all those things, so I'm not going to ask you to reveal that. But in the face of what we're looking at this year currently across the United States, how does United Way even approach a campaign for this year?
Well, I think, first of all, Dan, none of us have seen an economic time as challenging as this one in our lifetimes. So at times like this, some people have a tendency to kind of turn inward and make sure their own needs are met, and we certainly understand that, and they get concerned about giving at a time like this as well. But there are many people, and this is what we're encouraging, there are many people who are kind of looking outside themselves and seeing that they have jobs, that they're doing relatively well, maybe not as good as they were doing last year, but relatively well, and that it might be time for them to do that little extra. So we're seeing more volunteering, and in many places we're seeing more giving as well. We are looking at this as the greatest challenge perhaps we've ever experienced, and yet there is so much energy around this year's campaign because so many companies, so many individuals say, if we do business as usual, we will not address the needs of our community for the coming year.
This year, the campaign's being led by A.G. Lafley. It couldn't be a better person to be out there cheerleading this campaign this year.
That's right. A.G. Lafley is the chairman of Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble is the largest supporter of United Way and supports so many efforts in our community, a great corporate citizen. And A.G. brings not only his own passion, but he brings the strength of kind of intellectual capital and relationships in the community that P&G brings to any effort. So we're delighted to be working with AG.
Now, on Wednesday, the kickoff kicks off the public phase of the
That's
campaign.
Right.
You've already been in this campaign for some time, even though most of us haven't been plugged into it. And what's been going on up to this point? Where has the fundraising been happening up till this point?
Well, as you know, Dan, any visible fundraising effort starts months, if not years, before the actual visible part of the campaign, and ours is no different. This year, starting in early in the year, AG recruited his campaign cabinet, his leadership team. That group has met. They have formed strategies. They've developed efforts to call on companies and individuals to ask them to start thinking about the United Way campaign and how they'll run their campaigns this year. They have been working on increasing leadership giving to United Way. They've been working to support our various societies of young professionals, our Emerging Leaders Society and our African American Leadership Giving Society, our women's societies, to make sure that they're involved and engaged in this year's campaign. And the campaigns are starting to be conducted across the community.
When you mentioned the leadership campaigns, this is where United Way goes to individuals who can make extraordinary gifts. It's very important. It's a very quiet part of the campaign. Mm-hmm. How has that been going in the face of what how does it measure up to earlier years?
Well, it's interesting, Dan. You mentioned Alexis de Tocqueville and his famous 1835 book, Democracy in America. We have the
most important book ever written about America.
I believe it is,
yes,
in many ways. And we have a society of major givers called the Alexis de Tocqueville Society. It's people who have the good fortune to be able to make $10,000 individual contributions to United Way. And we have more new Tocqueville members at this point in the year. We have about 45 new Tocqueville members as of today. That's more than we've had at this point in the campaign over the last 6 campaigns. So in some ways, what we're hoping will happen is happening, that people who do have the capacity are saying, this is a year when maybe I need to step up and do more.
Now, so much of the campaign, the public part of the campaign that most of us experience in our workplaces are these workplace-based campaigns. Mm-hmm. The workplace is a complicated environment right now.
It is.
And,
it is.
There are a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of organizations have had to lay people off. So they're not even there mm-hmm. to give through that mechanism. Other people have had cuts in salaries and in wages and in benefits, and people are feeling stressed. What about a strategy for approaching the workplace component of this? How do you even think about that this mm-hmm. year?
Well, first of all, Dan, we have to try to say to people, we know you may not be as well off as you were a year ago. We're asking you to think about whether you're better off than many of the people that are out there needing services. Mm-hmm. And if people are working right now, if they're earning an income, we hope that they will consider this to be a particularly special year. The calls to our 211 service, United Way 211, which you know about, are 24-hour, 7-day-a-week.
But so many people don't know about.
They don't know about it, but you can call 211 and get access to the services that you need if you or a family member or friend needs help. Last year, 2 years ago, calls to that service, that helpline, were 71,000 calls. Last year, 95,000 calls, a 34% increase, and this year it looks like we're going to be over 110,000 calls if the current trends continue. The requests to food banks are up 30%. Women Helping Women, which helps women who have been raped or abused, the calls in the first quarter were up 68%. In times of stress, abuse goes up, and so the times are so challenging that we have to have people say, I need to do a little bit more this year.
In the case of Women Helping Women, just for example, how does the money that comes through United Way, how does it actually help an organization like that? What does it do for an organization that's experiencing an increase of demand and need in the community? Mm-hmm. What do you really do there?
Well, first of all, the United Way's funding tends to be some of the most stable that an agency can have. While we make changes in funding as well, and you know about some of those changes,
Right.
a lot of the other kinds of funding that agencies get, especially from the public sector right now, and even from the private sector, it's up one year, it's down the next. A grant is lost, a grant is gained. So United Way's funding often provides the kind of stable base of support that an agency can use to run its programs. So Women Helping Women, our funding helps to directly provide the staffing support that works with women who come in and say, I've been abused, I need some support.
I think that's really important. I want to just emphasize that stability of funding, because I know people who work for a lot of these different agencies, and we've just gone through the state budget process, which is just a roller coaster in terms of, and different agencies ended up in different places. And then local government funding is up in the air. We had a big dust up on that a few months ago, and it hasn't been really settled. All of these other private foundations are being very pressured. They lost a lot in the market. They don't have as much money to give. So United Way is that baseline that provides continuity.
That's right. And in addition to that, we have put additional dollars into a number of organizations in the past year. The food banks and foreclosure prevention, foreclosure counseling services, to make sure that those agencies that are experiencing that increased demand because of the economy get some additional support. We can't address all of the needs out there, but we have said we need to do some special efforts in this very difficult time.
And how many different agencies, and I don't know if you've got this off the top of your head or not, how many different agencies does United Way have some sort of direct funding role with, that they, that money that we give to the campaign ends up really getting to the agencies?
About 150 agencies across our 9.5 county area, that's the United Way of Greater Cincinnati area, get direct funding, and then we provide some funding to strategic partnerships as well that enables additional agencies to get support. But in terms of our partner agencies, we fund 150 agencies.
One final area I would have to ask about, and that is this virtual kickoff. Now, you and I are a little bit on the older side. Okay,
Don't ask me if I blog.
The bands and the clowns aren't going to really be there. But people... You don't have to be on Fountain Square now to be part of the kickoff. Is that right?
That's right. On August 26th between 11 and 1, get access to your computer, go to uwgc.org.
We can bring that up?
That's right. And spend in that 2-hour time frame, any time in that 2-hour time frame, spend 5 minutes with us, spend 15, spend an hour. There will be chats, places where you can chat with some celebrities. You can hear a message from A.G. Lafley talking about the goal and the need for this year. You can access a whole host of information about United Way and the services that are being provided and special efforts we're making.
Okay. All you have to do is go to that website that we showed you before, and you can click on, here it is, uwgc.org, and then there's a place to click on and sign up to be part of the virtual kickoff. And, Second Life. Maybe you'll even begin to figure out what Second Life is if you haven't touched that. So the point is, we're in that time period that's so critical, not only every year, but especially this year. Rob, thank you for being here. Good luck with this.
Thank you so much.
We'll stay in touch.
And thanks to the whole community for what you do, for what everybody does. It's great.
This is the entire community's way of reaching out.
It is.
Stay tuned. After the break, two leaders of Social Venture Partners of Cincinnati, a different approach to focusing resources on the needs of the community. Welcome back. Giving money is only one way we can help each other. We all have other resources and gifts, whether it is our willingness to devote time to direct service, to volunteer as a trustee on a not-for-profit board, or to provide expertise gained in another field of endeavor to a not-for-profit. Social Venture Partners of Cincinnati is an affiliate of the Seattle-based network of over 1,600 partners in 24 cities across the United States. Members of Social Venture Capital agree to make a minimum contribution of $6,000 a year for 3 years and volunteer an average of 100 hours or more per year. Social Venture Partners taps into the expertise of its partners to provide capacity building assistance to not-for-profits over a 3-year period. To discuss the Social Venture Partners of Cincinnati, I am joined this morning by 2 members of the organization, Wijdan Jaysat.
Good job.
Is an attorney with Cat Steller and Brandt and Held, and Glen Bitzenhofer, an independent IT management consultant. Welcome to Newsmakers.
Thank you.
Both of you, Wijdan and I know each other. I still can't get it right.
That's all right.
And Glen and I are going to get to know each other this
right.
year through Leadership Cincinnati. So
That's right.
thank you for being here this morning. Wijdan, just to get started, how large is Social Venture Partners here in Cincinnati? How many members do you have? It's about 2 years old, right?
Correct. This is our 2nd year in the community, and Social Venture Partners currently has what we call 18 units. A unit can be either an individual, a couple, a household. Glenn, for example, is doing it with his daughter. I'm doing it with my husband, so we're 1 unit. So we've got 18 units currently, but that represents about 26 individuals who are committed to working with our organization.
Right. Glenn, how did you find each other? How did people emerge to say, is there also, social venture, I even slipped, social venture investment, is this sort of spurred by the idea of social venture capital and looking for opportunities here that takes a certain personality to be involved in this as well?
Well, yes, it does. It takes passion. I mean, our tagline is bringing the power of business together with the passion of philanthropy. And what happened to me is just through my business networks, I got a call from Garen Wisner, one of our partners, who said, would you like to join? Initially, I wasn't really sure I wanted to, so I came to one of the functions. We have a lot of fun. We do. We have a lot of functions every month or so. We'll be doing something. I came to one of the functions, got to meet the partners, and was told about this idea of engaged philanthropy, where you just don't write a check and walk away, but you write a check and now you're part of who you invest in and what you do, once you're investing. And it just sounded very interesting. So I said, sure, I'll give it a try, and I'm very glad I did.
So there was recently an announcement that Social Venture Partners of Cincinnati, had chosen 2 organizations. One is Imago in Price Hill, and representatives of Imago have been a guest on this show a number of times because I find it a fascinating organization. The other one is the Gorman Farm up in the northern part of the county. So what will you do for these organizations? By choosing them, what's now going to happen?
Well, I think first of all, just to explain what our organization does as a whole is we're really trying to catalyze long-term significant growth in these organizations, build capacity, and really be able to help them deliver their mission. And we partner with them, work collaboratively with them. We're not on the board, we're not really volunteers providing normal services. No, in fact, that is specifically not what we're there to do. Think of it really more as an opportunity to have free consultants available to these nonprofits, to work collaboratively with them to try to help them focus their mission, but really be able to build the capacity internally in order for them to expand their programs. This year, what we thought was very interesting and really didn't surprise us at all, given our organization, we're committed to innovative processes, and here in a year where everybody else is kind of pulling back, we really found ourselves during the investment process, and that's how we really think of it, is we're investing our time and our money and our energy and our expertise in these organizations. We found ourselves really very committed to both of these organizations. They both really sparked a lot of interest. And so we decided rather than have one investee, which has been kind of our goal, that we would invest with both of them. So at this point, what we do is we really get together with them. Each of them approached us with certain ideas in mind of what kind of help they needed. Imago, for example, as you mentioned, they've been here a lot. They've been in this community for 30 years. If you're an environmentalist in Cincinnati, you know that organization. But frankly, they're still a hidden gem. Most people have not heard of them in the outside community. I certainly had not heard of them until I was involved with SVP and became involved in the grant making process. And so they are really looking to launch this great innovative program of education and connecting people with the earth from 18 months old through adulthood, which is really an exciting prospect. And so what we're going to try to help them do is, from a marketing perspective, from a business planning, strategic planning, all of those types of capacity building processes really help them to get the word out. And the same would be true with Gorman.
And what personally, you know, there's the money side, but as we've just been explaining, it's also getting involved with these organizations. Your background is IT. Does that mean you bring IT expertise, or do you have other expertise that you also are interested in?
I can, but as it turns out, I'll go to the Civic Garden Center, which is the group that we funded last year.
Right. And you stick with them.
We stick with them for multiple years, that's right.
Okay.
One of the things you're doing is this Green Learning Station. It's a really nice educational opportunity that was their idea, as Wijdan said, you know, we don't make decisions. We provide coaching, research, things like that to help make it the best decision they can. And in terms of implementation, one of the things I personally have done is I've done a lot of project management for Procter & Gamble for years and years. They didn't have a project manager expertise. They do now. They have I don't do project management. I mean, they have a project manager, but we provided training, we brought in methodology, and Social Venture Partners doesn't run their programs or their projects. We're, as she said, we're consultants. So in that case, I provided some training, provided some methodology, and I think if you could see the project where it is now and the project manager who's running it, this is working out very, very well for him.
And what have you been doing hands-on? What's sort of your, not just the theory, but what's been the passion?
Well, the real passion, both Glen and I have been very involved in the investment process itself. Glen actually was the chair of our investment committee last year, and I'm taking over
now.
That's right. He passed on the reins.
And what does that mean?
What that means is our investment committee is really what most organizations would refer to as the grant making committee, but we're really the ones who get in there and try to review all of these grant proposals that we're getting, talk to the particular organizations, do site visits, do a lot of investigation to find really the right fit, because our organization gives both time and money. It's not just a matter of I want a check from you. We're looking for an organization that's really wanting to leverage that skills and expertise.
Do organizations approach you, or do you out there searching for organizations, or is it a little bit of both?
We certainly have tried to get out in the community and let people know of this opportunity that's available, but then through the investment process we have a formal letter. They submit letters of intent, and then we kind of narrow down the field and then seek actual full proposals through a normal grant making process. But what we're looking for is an opportunity, as I said, not just to invest the money, but really somebody who's looking to leverage that time and expertise as well.
Yeah, one of the things that intrigued me, and I think Glen, you said this, that a lot of organizations, a lot of companies right now in this economic situation are pulling back.
Right.
You're looking for how do you make investments that look beyond this immediate economic situation. And it seems to me that is so important right now, because the first instinct to everybody is, well, we just cut back.
Right.
But someplace you start cutting the heart out of things.
That's exactly right.
And we got to look forward. We're not going to be here all the time.
Right. Well, the heart of our organization and our mission really is to build on that long-term impact, to be able to catalyze and expand real long-term positive social change. And you can only do that by making a long-term commitment to an organization, but also really trying to help them build the capacity so that at a time when everybody is pulling back, you're hopefully giving them the tools and helping and working with them collaboratively to partner so that they can really expand their mission and expand their services.
This is part of a larger movement, and I referenced that. In some cities, in a city like Seattle, where this is a little bit older,
larger.
What kind of impact is it having? Are a lot more people involved? Or
they have a very large part. They're into granting, I think this is not exaggeration, millions of dollars throughout their organization, the life of SVP Seattle. We're into, so we're just a startup.
Okay.
We hope that we will grow. I mean, we're looking for partners. We're not a private club by any stretch. We are looking for partners. Anybody who is interested in giving back to the community and in doing it in a way where they're going to give of themselves a little bit and not just their checkbook are very, very welcome. And another thing I want to mention is that we help each other. I have a business, and when I need help, we have people in marketing, finance, legal. I talk to the partners, and they talk to me, and it's a very nice organization where we help the community, we have a lot of fun, and we help each other.
And that's what I was going to say is really the distinguishing factor. I think we've all been involved in as board members or volunteers with various social organizations. What's interesting about this particular organization has just been the fun and the engagement there.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Hopefully people both who want to join your organization and people who want to benefit will get in touch with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for making Newsmakers a part of your Sunday morning. Join us again next week for an interview with the new president of Vision 2015 in Northern Kentucky. Have a good week.